If you've ever considered getting into astrophotography or buying a telescope, and you're on a budget, you've probably come across or heard of smart telescopes, specifically the Dwarf Lab Dwarf 2 Smart Telescope. Today, we're going to talk about what comes in the box, what this little telescope can do, what it can't do, who it's for, and overall my impressions after using it for a few months now, including what kind of images I'm getting. So, let's go ahead and jump in to the review of the Dwarf Lab Dwarf 2 Smart Telescope. So the folks over at Dwarf Lab have really done an outstanding job with this little invention. It's not the only smart telescope out there. There are other ones out there. But in the $500 range, it really only comes down to this and the C-Star S50. I opted for this one because it's actually available while the C-Star has just started shipping to folks aside from influencers and pre-releases, so I couldn't get my hands on it. This little guy, for $500, has go-to tracking, meaning I can open the app, select an object in the night sky from their catalog, maybe the Orion Nebula or Jupiter or whatever I chose, and this will automatically track to the location. And then I can press imaging or start imaging, and it will take photos, live stacking as it does so, and tracking due to the Earth's rotation and the universe being fixed. What that does is it allows anyone, from me to my parents to my children, to pick up this device, set it outside, and start taking stacked astrophotography images of the night sky. Whether you just want to get a little look, or whether you want to take highly detailed long exposures, this little guy can do it. When you buy the Dwarf Lab Dwarf 2, it comes with the following items. Obviously, you have your Dwarf 2 all-in-one with a tripod mount, so you can mount this to any existing tripod you actually already own, and I would recommend doing that because the one that it comes with from Dwarf Labs, while it is included in the package and has a little ball head on it, it really lacks the ability to provide true stable platforms for long exposure photography or on uneven ground because, again, this is such a small compact item. You can take it with you in your backpack when camping or hiking or just heading out to a park. You don't have to lug around heavy gear. So having the tripod is nice, but generally you'll find yourself on uneven ground where this tripod starts to fall short. Also, it comes with a filter adapter. It's actually very easy to use, and because of its magnetic mounting, you can't really get it wrong. Right there, it just pops in place and pops off in place. If I try to put it on wrong, because it's a magnetic, it just won't allow it to do that. So it goes in the right way every time, making it quick and easy to apply filters. With that said, the deluxe edition also comes with these filters, minus this one. These two are ND filters. These are highly tinted lenses that allow the camera sensor to remain safe and allow you to point it at the sun to take images. You can see for my image right here, this one you can see sunspots, and overall it's a pretty good image. This comes with a UHC filter, and this was a Bahtinov mask that I purchased off of Etsy. It's 3D printed, which just allows me to dial in my focus the way I want to. It also comes with a nice carrying case and shoulder strap, which all of this just fits right into, and you are on your way to start taking images. It's really that simple. So, what are the strong points of the Dwarf 2? Well, it's got quite a few. Because it comes with a wide angle and telephoto built in, along with app tracking and app locating. This lets you hold your phone while the Dwarf is set up. You can put it up on a windowsill, or you could take it on your balcony, or in a park, or camping, or hiking, and open up your app, and you can pulling the camera from the app, and this will remotely turn on its both axes, all the way around and up and down, alt-azimuth axis, and it'll allow you to take images, whether that be landscape, wide field astrophotography like Milky Ways, or zooming in on birds during the daytime, or in this case, I zoomed in on a cruise ship that was 1 mile from my balcony. I actually checked it on Google Maps, you can see here. And you can see really good detail, as well as, check this out, this guy all the way at the top playing basketball, and this is right around sunset. So it's got good low light performance, as well as good imaging and clarity at long distances. But this really starts to shine when you use the app's go-to feature. You can see that you can select from a catalog of already programmed deep sky objects, things like planets, the moon, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, but also things like star clusters, nebulae, wide field nebulae, the Orion cluster. There's just a lot of really cool things that you can simply touch. And if it's in the night sky and not obstructed from your location, the Dwarf 2 will simply go to that location, it'll fix its focus on that location, it'll fix its position on that, and it will start tracking that for as long as you want to take pictures. So you can set this to up to 999 images at your own preferred brightness, exposure, or leave it all auto. And then it will start taking as many pictures as you've asked it to, between 1 and 999, and all the way up to 15-second exposures. So you could potentially have just about 1,000 15-second exposures. And what's really fun about this is it live stacks the images as it's shooting. So you can watch your image come to life and see how that detail really starts to improve over time through the images with the live stacking. Now I'm going to talk about where some areas that the Dwarf 2 falls short, or where it could just be improved or it lacks because, again, look at this size and compact portability. It's got to have some limitations, and you'd be correct. So while this can photograph nebulae and get great detail of the moon, it does have limitations. At 100mm focal length with an f4 focal ratio, you have great fast light gathering capabilities, but you also lack the true depth and detail to penetrate and get those super detailed nebulae items and objects. It's just going to do, it does, I guess the best way to sum this up, it does everything really good, but it does nothing excellent. On top of that, because it's an alt-azimuth base, again, meaning it can only spin on these two axes, and that's how it tracks, it can, over long exposures and long shooting periods, develop what I heard Nico Carver on Nebula Photos say is walking noise. And I think that's a great way to describe it. I'll put some images here on the screen of what I've had from walking noise and how frustrating it is. But it doesn't always happen, and depending on how you align your Dwarf on its tripod, you can actually point this to the North Star and get a really clean image. But just keep in mind, if you were just to set it on the ground and press imaging, you'll end up with some walking noise if you're doing very long exposures. Now that's reduced when you do shorter exposures, maybe 5 seconds, 8 seconds, 10 seconds, but when you start going even at 10, 13, 15-second images, you'll start to introduce more walking noise. The other limitation this is going to have, that I can't fault it for it, but it's just a fact of the matter, is that you can't, from what I can tell, upgrade this. You can't put a better lens in it, you can't change the sensor, you can't do things that would allow you to grow as an astrophotographer. It's great at what it does, but it's limited to what it does right now. Certainly we'll see firmware updates coming in the future where you can actually giving improvements to how the sensor maybe reads the data or how it stacks the data or the binning. It can do things on the software side that will ultimately give us a better image. And I think we'll see those as time comes out. And I think Dwarf is even hinting that there's a really big update coming soon to the app. But because you can't upgrade these like you could a camera or a telescope or a planetary, setup, this is just, it is what it is, and that's all it will ever be, but I don't think it's a bad thing because it does what it does very well. I've not had any real problems with the app personally. I've heard a lot of people complain about it. It can be a little clunky and a little slow to catch up sometimes, and every now and then I'll have to just close it and start over, but it's not consistently bad, and I think overall it does a great job. I'm hearing rumors that the new app update is really great, so anything from here moving forward is just going to be that much better, and again, I haven't had that many problems, so take that with a grain of salt. All right, who's this for? This is for anybody. Get it for your parents as a gift for them to set out on their porch in the evenings and look at items in the night sky. Get it for your kid for their introduction to the night sky and astronomy and seeing things that are right there above us all the time. Or maybe you're a serious astrophotographer, but let's be real, you're not going to carry your EQ6 out into the mountains and hiking late at night to get a great image at a mountaintop. But this is something you can toss in your bag and you go out camping with friends or hiking and you want to show people things and you want to just kind of explore the night sky on a not so high technical level. This is a perfect way to do so. Overall, guys, my final impressions after having this for months are a couple things. One, this thing's incredibly fun. You're not having a huge learning curve of learning about polar alignment and understanding all your gear and carrying multiple bags to go take a single picture. You're taking one thing the size of a reading book out of your bag, setting it up, and just starting. And you're getting great images almost immediately if you don't have obstructions in the sky. If you have a clear sky, You can do astrophotography in 5 minutes with this little device. So Dwarf 2 and the Dwarf Lab folks really did a great job with this. I bought this with my own money. This was not sent to me. It is not something I've been in contact with Dwarf Lab about. This is a straight money out of my pocket purchase that I wanted to share with you guys, and I hope you guys found this helpful, and we'll see you on the next one.